Hey, what's up everyone? Danny here with my friend Gilbert. We're here for another Jiu-Jitsu technique. As you notice right now, we're in NoGi uniforms. So we're gonna show you guys how to maintain a proper, steady side control position applicable for NoGi as well as MMA. Check it out. All right, so we're here in the side control position. Now, because I don't have the kimono, there's a lot less friction and the game elevates its speed a little bit, okay? So now, the first concept we have to understand when we're maintaining side control is, number one, is I had to work hard to pass the guard. I like to explain to students sometimes is we worked with all of our guard passing techniques and sometimes that's a challenge in itself. So once I've cleared the line of his hips, I don't want to lose that position, have my opponent recover the guard once again. So I have to maintain control. So a lot of times we want to learn all of the submission attacks, and that's really cool. But the real secret of good jiu-jitsu is how you can control your opponent when you're in a dominant position as in the top position like side control, all right? So now, if I have good control from the top, that's gonna make me maintain position, and if I maintain position, that's gonna open up the line of attack, such as going for submission attacks. If it's MMA, I'm gonna be able to open up for some strikes, and transitioning, which is a key element of moving when you have an opponent on his back. All right, so check it out. The first thing I like to teach is always having your near side knee connected to his hip. Okay, so if I don't have this concept, I'm not going to maintain side control for much longer. Okay, so I don't want him bringing his knees back in the front to recover guard. I don't want him moving away from me. So the first concept is always remember to keep your bottom knee, which is the knee that's connected to his hip, as tight to that hip as possible, okay? So that means once it's there, I have to maintain that sensitivity that every time my opponent tries to escape, I have to follow him, okay? So I'll give you an example is, once I'm here, my knee is snug against his hip bone, and the top knee is snug against the armpit, okay? Right underneath his tricep. I want his arm and tricep resting onto my lap, okay? So once I'm here, that's the near side knees. I want my chest to chest, all right, but I don't want to go too far. I don't want to have stomach to chest because I'm going to lose balance and get rolled over. So I want chest to chest. Now I have one arm going underneath his neck and the other one underneath his armpit like this. Okay, so underneath the tricep. Now I'm going to connect my hands together as such. When I do connect, make sure you don't interlace your fingers. If I do this, what this could do is when my opponent's fighting and bridging, I might break my fingers. So I always want to try to hide and use the monkey grip, all 5 fingers clasped together like a palm-to-palm grip, okay? Now, one more important concept is I'm trying not to have the one that's behind his neck underneath, palm up. All right, a lot of people sometimes hold like this, all right? It's not gonna make a huge difference, but when I start to turn this way, it adds the shoulder pressure to the chin. When I'm here, I'm in a bicep curl position, so I'm using more energy. When I turn this way, now I can start to drive my shoulder forward without expending too much energy to hold the person down. Now, every time, I want you guys doing a drill, every time my opponent tries to scoot his hips away from me, I have to maintain connection with my bottom knee, all right? Because that's gonna create space for him to recover the guard. So what we're gonna do is, the first technique or the concept is once I maintain this position, the moment I feel him moving away from me, one, I have to connect my bottom knee again. If he moves again, connect again. And if he moves again, always connecting that knee, okay? So what this is going to do is always maintain stability into your side control position and make it challenging for the bottom person to escape and recover guard. All right, guys. One more thing that's important too is sometimes when I have this control, my opponent's gonna try to, from this position here, underhook. So as he's swimming his hand inside, he's gonna underhook and eventually get a better position to escape. So a good tip I have for you guys is, I like to use this a lot, whether it's gi, no gi, mixed martial arts, if it was self-defense on the street, doesn't really matter. Fighting is fighting. What I'm going to do is disconnect my palms together and use just one hand connected to his bicep and use my elbow as a frame against his own body. Okay, show you how it's done. So I'm here in side control position. I feel my opponent tries to pummel up. Watch what I do with this hand. It swims underneath and catches his bicep. All I'm doing is just pushing with my palm and connecting my arm to his body like this. So it doesn't matter how strong he is as he's trying to fight in, it's blocked against his own rib cage. All right, let's do this one more time. So we're here, simple concept. He starts to pummel inside. I use my palm, connect to his bicep, keep everything locked in, and he can't pummel inside. We're here, as he goes in, one, see how I just release palm to palm, swim my hand inside, and force it in, Jibba, see? Okay, it's not going anywhere, see? Now, one thing that's important to remember is don't flare your elbow up. Now, if my elbow is off the mat and he goes in, he's gonna be able to swim his hand through. So I have to keep everything tight, connected to his own body and frame, and now as he's fighting, see how my voice doesn't change? He's trying to bring his palm inside and it's not going anywhere. That's the second concept that's very important to remember when you want to retain side control position. Now guys, for the next concept, I want to talk about the near side arm. A lot of times when the opponent's more seasoned in jiu-jitsu, they're going to try to bring that elbow in and start to frame your hip as such, okay? And this is the proper thing to do for the bottom person, okay? So a lot of times if you're a jiu-jitsu perfectionist, you want to have the best position possible, okay? So if you're controlling the hip with your knee, and then you're always blocking that swimming underhook on the far side, the near side elbow is the last thing to consider. Or there's no particular order, but it's just that this thing might be bugging you. Maybe you like to attack the near side arms, and because he's doing a great job framing, that's unavailable for you. Okay, so I'm going to show you a small tip, but we're going to change the angle for this one. I'm going to go sideways here, have Jiba face the camera in this direction. So what's going to happen now is every time I'm trying to maintain stability from the top position, if my opponent actually has a good frame using the elbow here on my hip, it's going to be hard to maintain that position. And eventually, as he's scooting away, he's going to be able to create some space, and that's his recomposing the guard method. So what we're going to do to remove this is I'm just going to stay in this position so you guys can kind of see a little bit of the angle. Is from this position here, as I'm holding the chest to chest over under position, my top knee is going to make its way to the bottom knee, and it's going to pummel and scrape his elbow up as such to bring his tricep back onto my lap. All right, so now I'm going to show you guys in real time once I have chest to chest position, and if my partner actually brings his elbow like this, I want to retain control of this arm. So what I'm going to do now is just connect my knee to my bottom knee and scrape until I regain that proper arm control. All right, so this is how you connect the elbow to your lap. Okay, so now sometimes the opponent's going to have his elbow a little bit deeper. Maybe they have long forearms, or maybe has a better frame control, and this top knee can't really reach. It's just going to graze beside his bicep like this. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to gain assistance from my bottom knee, push it up, and now scrape it up. Okay, so watch what it's going to look like. So from this position here, when I have the side control, I can't really get that scoop, right? So see, it just passes in front. What I'm going to do now is use the bottom knee to push this elbow up and use my top knee to regain control and reconnect everything as it was in the beginning. All right, so one more time. So we're here. The opponent's doing a good job framing my hip. From this position here, top knee doesn't really reach. So what I do now is I use the bottom knee, scoot it up, and top knee catches it up back to the initial position of control. All right, guys, for the last sequence, what I want to show you guys a little bit of control when the person actually does. There's always the what ifs in jiu-jitsu or no-gi mixed martial arts fighting in general. So maybe my opponent was quick enough to get that pummel inside before I was able to catch his bicep, and now he's going for that deep underhook. So I'm going to show you how to easily counter that and do what we call a movement to the opposite side. Okay, so now I have the side control position from here. For training, when you guys are going to be drilling this, always give a little bit of space to your bottom partner. That way there you can train the technique, because in reality, if you're really holding tight, it's going to be impossible to pummel this hand underneath as an underhook. But let's say, for example, there was enough space. As he brings his hand inside like this, now he starts to pummel and turn slightly to the side. See? Now freeze here. This is the position that he has to start to escape like this. A lot of people in no-gi and mixed martial arts like to escape using the underhook. Okay, so what we're going to do, instead of fighting this and trying to go back chest to chest, using the power, strength, and trying to re-pummel once again, which is a good possibility that I can achieve, what I'm going to do instead is just use his energy. As he's pushing up, instead of fighting against him to get that underhook once again, I'm going to underhook his underhook. So in other words, we call this the whizzer in jiu-jitsu. So I'm going to do a whizzer with my arm, and I'll show you another angle in a second. But for right now, what I want to do is keep the forearm nice and tight, okay? And I want to make sure that my shoulder is in line with his shoulder, or even above his shoulder. The moment his shoulder disappears, if I keep my hand in front of his chest, now he's able to bump and start to pummel even deeper. And now look at his shoulder. His shoulder is below my shoulder, which is very bad for me right now. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm going to change the angle so you guys can see a little bit more. So from here, as I have side control position, okay, my partner is going to start to pummel this arm. I'm going to give it a little space for the camera. Now, as he pummels the arm inside, see, that's the underhook right here. So what I need to do is use the whizzer underneath the armpit like this. Now, when we use a traditional whizzer, we just stop right here at the chest. This is usually good enough when I'm standing, if I'm wrestling. But in this case, to maintain my position for side control and get top position, I'm gonna need a little bit more, because what I need to do now is use his energy against himself and go around him. So first things first, I'm gonna keep my forearm on the mat. This will nullify his speed. So that way there, if I don't have this, he's gonna start to pummel and go for the single leg, the ankle pick. So what I need to do is slow him down by keeping this frame in front of his face. I wanna bug him. So although he has the underhook, this will kind of like slow things down, but I won't be able to hold him there forever. So the whizzer is gonna come in, use the palm up near the neck, and as I start to turn, watch what's gonna happen. As I spin and I land, I have the underhook behind the neck, and now I regain my position into side control position on the opposite side, okay? So I'm gonna show you guys from this angle again, a little bit of space. As he pummels his arm, 1, he starts to turn. Number 1, I keep my forearm posted. Number 2, I whizzer, and now point my palm to his chest, to the clavicle area, where the collarbone is, okay? If I keep this down, it's not tight enough. If I bring it up, now everything is snug. Usually I'm gonna be applying weight as well. For the technique for the camera, I'm giving a little space. I want you guys to see the angle. Once I have the whizzer here, I'm gonna start to raise my knees off the mat. My palm goes around. As I spin across, slow motion, see how my arm is already overhooking his arm? As I land into the side control position, I'm back to square one, knee to the hip, arm is already underneath the neck, and I go palm to palm. Okay, one last time slowly. As he starts to pummel, I'm gonna give him a little space. Forearm on the mat. Always palm on the mat. This one goes here, whizzers across, palm goes as high as possible. I don't want to keep it in front of his stomach like this. It's too loose. As I go up, it's very snug. As I'm putting the pressure, super snug, all right? So I go here, go over. As I spin, I'm already pummeled inside the side control position. I like to block the far side hip, or near side hip, I should say in this case, because I spun around. And now, control the head, release, use my knee against the hip. As we said earlier in the video, palm to palm, gable grip, and we're back to the opposite side. All right, thank you very much for watching this video once again on side control. If you have any questions, make sure to leave them in the comment section below. We'll address as soon as possible. Give us a thumbs up if you like watching this type of content as well. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more videos, and we'll see you guys in the next Jiu-Jitsu video. Take care.